Good evening to you all. Okay, so it is a doubt clarification class. So any doubt you are having can ask me. Okay, any doubt you are having can ask me now. Okay, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, where we should use integration in one dimension motion. Okay, see, if you think on this point, you know that if displacement is given as a function of time t, like something displacement is given as like a t square plus 2t or plus 4, like this some equation is given to us, or we can say like displacement is a function of time t. Okay, then how to get velocity? If x is given as a function of time t, to get the velocity, what we have to do? We have to differentiate this x with respect to t. Fine. Okay. Now, now we got velocity as a function of time t. Okay. Now from velocity, if I have to get acceleration, what I need to do? I need to differentiate this dv by dt. Now reverse case. Reverse means if a is given as a function of time t, okay, and we have to get velocity, you have to integrate this. Means integration of v dt. You will get what? Velocity, okay. And if velocity is given as a function of time t, and you have to get displacement, we need to integrate this. Means integration of v dt. Okay. So that is what it means. Fine. Okay. So from displacement to velocity, differentiation. From velocity to acceleration, differentiation. A to B, integration. Then B to X, integration. Like this we have to do. Okay, fine. So that is the use of integration. Now this integration, one thing more. This integration is used when X is a function of time t. Means we can see that X is variable here. Variable means it will change with time. Okay, fine. So in your lower classes, you must have studied about like this uh, velocity is displacement by time. Displacement by time. In that case, displacement was constant. Okay, displacement was constant. Fine, but here we cannot use this formula, displacement by time. The reason is that displacement is variable here. Variable means it depends upon t. So if it depends upon t, then we have to get, if we have to get velocity, then we have to differentiate this. Okay. Any other doubts? See, least count of vernier caliper. Okay, least count of vernier caliper is defined by least count. The least count of vernier caliper is defined by one main scale division minus one vernier scale division. That is the least count of the vernier caliper. One main scale division minus one vernier scale division. Okay. So if you have seen the figure of see why it is. Okay, the reason is that basically it measures the difference of main scale division and vernier scale division. That difference is the least count in this case. Okay, that difference is taken as least count. Fine. Okay, fine. This one, how? how to tell direction, wait, how to the direction of object as south of east or east of south. Okay, see, it is very simple. First of all, you have to draw this. Okay, this is north, this is your east, this is your west and south. Okay, now if some vector is there like this, oh, okay, it makes an angle theta like this. Okay, so how to get this direction? See, if this is the angle theta, then theta means we are starting from east and we are going towards north. So this we have to write like this. The point where we are starting, that is east. Okay, the direction in which we are traveling. Okay, that should come as first. Okay, that is north, north of east. Okay, so direction in which we are traveling will come first. Then this direction where we have started at where we have started the traveling. So we have started from east and we are going towards north. So so the direction would be north of east. Okay, fine. Now if I take this angle, say theta dash, then the theta dash will be what? We are starting from north and we are going towards east. So theta dash will be equal to east of north. So first one represent the direction in which we are traveling. Second one represent the direction in which we have started. Okay, so we started from east. So that is the second part. First will be the direction in which we are moving. Okay, so it is north of east. This would be east of north. Theta dash. Okay, did you get this or not? Fine. Resolution of vector. Okay, resolution of vector means we are divide means see, if some vector is given to us like this, now we can resolve this vector means this is the resultant vector. Okay, now this vector can be resolved into two perpendicular component. Okay, so in two perpendicular component we can resolve this vector. Okay, that is what one will be fx. Okay, means horizontal component, that is fx, and other is the vertical component, that is fy. So if some vector is given to us like f vector, that f vector can be resolved into two components, that is fx and fy. Now these two components will be perpendicular to each other. Now if you think on this point, what is the magnitude of resultant of the two vectors? That would be equal to square root of fx square plus fy square, because this is 90-degree here. Okay, so basically any vector is given to us like this, say a vector. That a vector can be resolved into two components. One is horizontal component, that is ax, other is vertical component, that is ay. Okay, that is known as resolution of the vectors. See, integration. Okay, integrations in see integration formulas are there. Okay, so I think sir must have told you some formulas. Okay, that you have to understand. That you have to remember the formulas like integration of x power n. Okay, integration of x power n dx is equal to what? X power n plus 1, x power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1 plus c. Okay, so these are the formula which you have to remember. Okay, now how we can use this, how we can use in our chapters, like if I give you one problem like this, that velocity is given as a function of time t, like v equal to t square plus 2t plus 2. Okay, now if I have to find displacement, to find the displacement, what I need to do, I need to integrate this, because see, velocity equal to dx by dt. So can I write this as dx by dt equal to t square plus 2t plus 2. Take dt on that side. We are getting what? Dx equal to t square dt plus 2t dt plus 2 dt. Now if you integrate this, what I will get? I will get the displacement of the particle. Okay. So that is the usefulness of the integration. Okay, fine. But integration means formulas are there, like integration of x power n is x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. Like this, we have formulas that you have to remember the formulas. Okay, did you understand, Asmin? That is why when we are starting basic mathematics, the basic mathematics is very important. Okay, if you have skipped the classes of basic mathematics, then you will face a lot of problems when we are doing these problems, these kinematics 1D, 2D. You will face a problem in that. Okay, so kindly revise all the basic mathematics part, like differentiation and integration. Fine. Because this differentiation and integration is in class 12. Okay, so basic you should know for our subject. Okay, if you don't know the basic, because it is in class 12, you will learn in more detail in class 12. Okay, but for now you have to learn the basic of the integration and differentiation. Okay, any other doubts? Did you understand the resolution of the vector? Somebody asked me. Resolution you understood, Pranav? Okay, and the direction somebody asked me. Which one? Direction, I think somebody asked me. Okay, fine. Direction you understood or not? Okay, so for direction you have to understand like this. Means if I take angle theta from here, from east, the direction in which we are moving is the first term. So this we can say north of east means this is the direction which we are traveling. This is traveling direction, and this is the direction which we have started. So north of east, like this we have to do. Okay, fine. Parallelogram. See, parallelogram law vector. Differentiation concept. Okay, so I think differentiation we have done many problems in that. Okay, just wait for parallelogram method. Okay, parallelogram method means simple. It is like two vectors are given to us. Okay, like this is one vector A, this is another vector B. Okay, the angle between them is theta. Fine. Now we know one property of vectors, that we can move the vector in parallel direction. Okay, in parallel direction we can move the vectors. Okay, now you can see that if this is the A vector, other is the B vector, angle between them is theta, the resultant will be lying in between these two vectors. Okay, the resultant would be lying between these two vectors. So this is the resultant vector. Okay, this is the resultant vector R. Okay, now just think on this point. The vector can move in parallel direction. That is the property of the vector. Like if this vector is like this, B vector is here, we can move this B vector in parallel direction like this. But angle should not be changed, but we can move this vector. That is the property of the vector. Okay, so if I move this vector B, okay, so we can move this vector and B will come somewhere here. Okay, fine. Now you think on this point. This would be theta because angle between A and B is theta. So A is horizontal, B is at an angle theta. So this is theta angle. Okay. Now we can resolve this B into two components. This is the B vector. Okay. We can resolve the B into two components. One will be horizontal component, other will be the vertical component. Okay. So this is the horizontal component, that is Bx. This is the vertical component, that is By. Okay. Bx means what? Now see, Bx means what? The component of the B which is along the theta is always taken as B cos theta. Okay, and the component of the B which is opposite to theta is taken as B sin theta. Fine. So we can see that we have resolved this vector into B cos theta and B sin theta. Okay. Now Now I think we can easily find. Now if you see here, this becomes right angle triangle. This x y z becomes right angle triangle. So if it is a right angle triangle, can we say that xy square, which is resultant square, must be equal to perpendicular, means this, there is b sine theta whole square plus a plus b cos theta whole square. So in this way we can find the resultant value. Okay, we need to just open this bracket. We'll get what? B squared sine square theta plus a square plus b square cos square theta plus 2ab cos theta. Fine. We rearrange this equation, we'll get resultant magnitude equal to square root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Theta is the angle between a and b vector. This is known as parallelogram law of vectors addition. Okay, resultant magnitude will be equal to square root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Now next thing is what? This resultant makes some angle with the a vector. Let us suppose alpha angle. So can we find the value of this alpha angle? So alpha is the angle which resultant will make from the a vector. So can we write, if you assume this triangle xyz, can we say that tan alpha will be equal to perpendicular, that is b sin theta, divided by base. Now base is a plus b cos theta. A plus b cos theta. Therefore alpha will be equal to tan inverse of b sin theta divided by a plus b cos theta. So what is alpha? Alpha is the angle which resultant will make from the a vector. Okay, fine. That is parallelogram law of addition. Yes. No, no. Here theta is the angle between a and b vector. So basically, this parallelogram law of addition will give us the resultant of two vectors. If the two vectors are at angle theta, then what is the resultant of the two vectors? Okay, that is what parallelogram law of vector gives us. Fine. So here we are drawing the parallelogram. You can see here. If you think on this point, did we draw the parallelogram like this? This is the parallelogram. Okay, that is why it is known as parallelogram law of addition. Because a vector can also be shifted parallel to a vector. We can shift the a vector also. Okay, that is a property of the vectors. Did you get this or not? Hmm. Any other doubt? Formulas of integration. Wait. Okay, just write down the formulas of integration. Like first formula is what? Integration of x square is x power n. First formula is integration of x power n dx is given by x power n plus 1 by n plus 1 plus c. C is the constant here. Okay, c is the constant here. Fine. That is the first formula. Second formula, integration of sine theta. Okay, integration of sine theta. So what is the integration of sine theta? Means integration of sine x dx equal to minus cos x plus c. Okay, so integration of sine x dx is minus cos x plus c. Yes, integration is the reverse of differentiation. That is correct. Okay, integration is the reverse of differentiation. Okay, next third one is integration of cos x dx. That would be equal to sin x plus c. Okay, fine. Then fourth formula, integration of sin kx. K is multiplied with the angle. Okay, the integration of sin kx is minus cos kx by k plus c. Okay, the fifth formula, integration of cos kx. K is some constant multiplied with the angle. That formula is sin kx by k plus c. Okay, so integration of sin kx will be equal to, okay, fine. I'm not teaching fully, I'm just giving the formulas of integration. Okay, fine. Next formula is, okay, integration of secant x tan x dx. That would be equal to secant x plus c. Seventh formula, integration of cosec x into cot x dx will be equal to minus cosec x plus c. Okay. Eighth formula, integration of secant square x dx is equal to tan x plus c. Ninth formula, integration of cosec square x dx is equal to minus cot x plus c. Then we have integration of e power x dx is equal to e power x plus c only. And the last one is integration of 1 by x dx, that is equal to ln x plus. So these are the some formulas of integration. Fine. So you just need to remember these formula. Only basic formula you will require is only these formulas. Means first five will be required by you. Remaining first five and this last two is required. Remaining may not be useful to you. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is important. Then this last one, last two, e power x and 1 by x. One more formula is there. That is, one more is there. Integration of 1 by ax plus b dx. That will be equal to log of ax plus b divided by a plus c. Okay, fine. Ln, it is ln x. Ln means log to the base e. Log to the base e. Fine. Ln x means log to the base e. Whenever we write ln means log to the base e. E is the exponential here, 2.303. The value of e is 2.303. 2.718 is the value of e. Example of integration I told you, na, like just think, see, I gave you one example that say like uh, uh, that x is a function of time t. Okay, like we can say like x is given by say e power t. Okay, then sorry, don't take x, take velocity here. Okay, okay, velocity is given by e power t. Find x as a function of, means x is displacement here. Find displacement as a function of t, function of t. Okay, so velocity is what, dx by dt. We can write equal to e power t. Take dt on that side, so dx equal to e power t. Now integrate this. Now see, if you look at this formula which I have given to you, it is indefinite integration. So whenever there is indefinite integration, we have to put some constant c. Okay, here also some indefinite integration is there. Okay, so if you integrate ds, integration of dx is x, integration of e power t is e power t plus c. Okay, now in this question only, if I ask you, if I say that at t equal to 0, or we can say at t equal to 0, particle is at 1 meter. Okay, now if this condition is given to us, that if at t equal to 0, particle is at 1 meter, So from this condition, can we find the value of C? The constant value here C, we can find. Okay. So if I put x equal to 1, then E is equal to 0 plus C. E power 0 is 1. Okay. So we can write here as what? C equal to 0. Okay. So we get x equal to e power t. That is the answer. Okay. So like this we can use the integration here. Okay. Fine. Okay. You all are JE students now. You should not be, first of all, you should not afraid of maths, first of all. Okay. Now your maths should be very, very strong. Fine. Any other doubts? I don't have NCRT book now. If you can send me something. If you tell me the question, then I can explain. Relative velocity. Okay. This topic has been covered in your class. Relative velocity. Today started. Okay. So let that sir complete relative velocity. He has started today now, so let him complete. Fine. Oh, that is what I'm telling you. No, he has started. You let him complete. Okay. Then if you have doubt, then you ask. Okay. Okay. There may be some mistake. Okay. So if some vector question came, no problem. You can do in the next paper. Okay. Doubt in finding dimensions. Okay. Dimensions are very easy. Okay. See, for finding any dimension, we need to know the formula of that particular quantity. Like it is very simple. First of all, you should know about the basic dimensions. Like dimension of mass is m. Okay, these are the fundamental quantities. Okay, length is l. Okay, time is t. Then we have current, electric current is a, capital A. Okay, then we have temperature. Temperature is Kelvin or theta. Okay, then we have amount of substance. These are the basic quantities. That is mole, mol, mole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more is there. Luminous intensity. Okay, that is candela, CD. Okay, these are the basic quantities. Fine. Now, now we have to find the dimension of any quantity, like a force. Okay. Now, if we need to find the force, if we need to find the force, you should know the formula of the force. Okay, we should know the formula of the force. Okay, so force formula is what? See, force formula we know that is mass into acceleration. Okay, now mass we know, mass dimensional formula is m, but a we don't know. Okay, how can we get a? A is known. A is what? Velocity by time. So a is velocity by time. Okay, or we can say displacement x by t square. Okay, fine. So a is what? Displacement, or we can say v by t, that is x by t square. So can we get the dimension of a? A dimension will come as how much? X is displacement. Displacement dimension is length. T is the time. So it should be what? L t minus 2. So A is coming as L t minus 2. So what is the dimension of the force? Mass is m, capital M, multiply with L t minus 2. It will come as what? ml p minus 2. That is the dimension formula of force. So if you have to find the dimension of any quantity, we need to have the formula of that particular quantity, like force formula, like momentum. Momentum is what? Momentum is mass into velocity. Okay, mass into velocity is momentum. Fine. Dimension of mass is capital M. Velocity is L p minus 1. So dimension formula of momentum would be what? M L p minus 1. Okay. So like this, we can find the dimension of any quantity. Only thing you should know is the formula of that quantity. If you can know the formula, you can get the dimension also. Okay, fine. So dimension is a very vast topic. Okay, even up so you need to find the dimension of all the quantities. Okay, so gradually, if you know the formula, you'll get the dimension also. That's what I'm saying. That is permeability of the vacuum, free space, that is epsilon naught. This you will study in class 12. Okay. From there, you have to get the dimension formula. Fine. It must have come in your exam. Fine. But that's what I'm telling you now. That like if say like permeability you have asked me. See the force between the 2 point charges. Okay. The force between the 2 point charges equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. This is the force between the 2 point charges. Okay, force between the 2 point charges. Now epsilon naught is the permeability of the vacuum or a free space. Okay, so we have to find this dimension. So we can take epsilon naught in the right hand side, left hand side, and force on the right hand side. So we get epsilon naught equal to q1 q2 by 4 pi f into r square. Now 1 by now this 4 pi is a constant. Constant dimension is dimensionless, so we don't need to consider the dimension of 4 pi. Now q is the charge, electric charge. Electric charge is equal to, now if you have studied in class 10th, the rate of flow of current is equal to what charge? So current is q by t. Okay, I is the current. So what is the dimensional formula of current? That is ampere, A. So can we write I as A? Okay, time is t. So dimension formula of q will come as what? At. Okay, so q is 80, q2 is also 80. So can we write this as what? 80 into 80, because dimensional formula of q is 80 divided by force. Force dimension formula we have found, that is mlt minus 2. Dimension formula of r square is l square. Okay. Now we just need to means rearrange this expression. Okay, so m can be taken in numerator, it becomes m minus 1. Okay, l l square is there, l cube is there. If you take in numerator, it becomes l minus 3. Then ampere, time is how much? T minus 2. This is t square. So it becomes t power 4. Then we take this ampere square. So that is the dimensional formula of epsilon naught. M minus 1, L minus 3, t power 4 is. Okay. So if you know the formula, you can get the dimensional formula of epsilon naught also. Okay. Fine. Now you have asked me about this angular momentum, angular velocity. See, angular momentum formula is mvr. Okay. Angular momentum formula is angular momentum represented by L. Okay. L is equal to mvr. Okay. Fine. So dimensional formula of mass is capital M, velocity is Lt minus 1, radius is L. Okay, so we get what? M L square T minus 2 is the dimensional formula of angular momentum. Okay, so Mn square T minus 2 is the dimensional formula of angular momentum. Okay, Then angular velocity. So angular velocity is omega, which is equal to 2 pi by t. Okay, that is the formula of angular velocity. 2 pi is the constant which is dimensionless. T is time. Time dimension is t. It is in denominator. You have to take a numerator. So we get m0 l0 t minus 1. Okay, so that will come as dimensional formula of angular velocity. Fine. And the last one is what? Planck constant. Okay. Now you know that energy formula is Planck constant into frequency. Okay. This is frequency. Fine. Energy dimensional formula is what? ml squared t minus 2 divided by frequency. Frequency is 1 by t. Okay. Frequency can be written as h by t. Okay. If you take t in this side, we get h. So h will come as how much? M L squared t minus 1. That is the dimensional formula of Planck constant. Ml squared t minus 1. Okay. So basically, if you know the formula, you can get the answer easily. You don't need to do anything else. You have to know the formulas of different quantities. So if they have the same dimension of angular momentum, you have to find the dimension of angular momentum. Then compare with the quantities dimension. Okay, you get the answer. Epsilon naught. Epsilon naught it is. We say permeability of the free space at epsilon naught. That is the name which we have given to us. Okay. What I have to repeat? Epsilon naught. It is what? Epsilon naught. Spelling may be mistaken. It is F epsilon naught. Spelling may be wrong. Okay, I need to check the spelling. It should be spelling is wrong. It should be E P. Wait, it should be E P SILON NOT. Okay, epsilon naught. Okay, projectile. I think sir has not taught you up till now. Is that correct or not? So let him teach first. Okay, it is dot clarification class. What all has been taught to you that you have to clarify. Projectile sir has taught you. Epsilon naught. I'm telling you, epsilon naught is the permeability of the free space. Okay, that is the symbol for that. Okay, epsilon naught. So projectile sir has taught you. Okay, so you have a doubt in projectile motion. Fine. So projectile is basically what? Two-dimensional motion or not? It is a two-dimensional motion. Fine. Okay. Fine. So let us suppose that some particle is thrown from the ground. Okay. Some particle is thrown from the ground. It angles some angle theta. Okay, fine. Basically, projectile motion is a combination of two dimensions, two motion. Okay, it is a motion in a plane. Motion in a plane means it has both simultaneous motion on x-axis as well as y-axis, which means to represent the projectile motion, we need to have the two different equations, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis, because the particle is moving in what? In a plane. Plane, you understand, means xy plane. So if you take this plane of the paper, so the particle is moving in this plane. Okay, so it has both simultaneous motion. It has both motion along the x-axis and other along the y-axis. Fine. So that is what projectile motion means. Now, see, is my voice clear or not? Okay. So basically, projectile motion is what? The motion of the body in the plane. Okay. So when you throw the object from the ground, okay, then the particle. See, one thing we have to understand here. If we throw the particle with some velocity v at an angle theta, okay. So if there was no gravity, let us suppose there was no gravity, then this particle would have moved in a straight line like this. And it would continue to move in a straight line. But since it is a velocity is there, what will happen? Because of that, because of this gravity, the particle will move along the projectile path. Okay, fine. So this is known as projectile path. Okay, why this path is projectile? Because of the gravity which is present. The gravity will try to pull the object downward. Because of that, the particle will follow this path. That is known as projectile path. Okay. Now, now I told you that projectile is basically the motion of the body in two dimensions. One along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. Okay. Now to represent the motion of the particle, we need to write the equation, separate equation for both the cases. Means if I write the equation only along the x-axis, then we have three equations of motion. One is what? X equal to u, u. Now see, if you see in this case, this is the velocity v which we have given, or u we can take. Initial velocity we are taking as u, so you can take this as u. Okay. Now this u is making angle theta from the x-axis. This u can be break into two components. One component would be along the x-axis, that is ux. Other component along the y-axis, that is uy. Okay. So for the particle to move along the x-axis, which velocity is responsible, x or y? See, this particle is having both the motion, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. So to move the particle along the x-axis, which velocity is responsible? The velocity which is along the x. Okay. See, component use is that basically, basically, u is the resultant of two vectors. Okay. Like resolution of the vectors. If you have studied resolution of the vectors, there you have studied that if I draw the u vector like this, okay, this u can be break into two components. One is along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. Is that correct or not? We can break the motion of the particle if it is moving in a plane, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. Okay, and u is the resultant of x and y. Fine. So basically, if you see a projectile, if you see a projectile, projectile is basically the motion of the body in two dimensions, x and y dimension. Okay. So for the body to move along the x, the component which is responsible will be velocity along the x-axis, and to move the component along the y-axis, which is responsible, the velocity along the y-axis. Okay. And the resultant of both the velocity will give us what? The projectile path. Okay. Definition of component means if you have studied vector properly, I told you what is vector. See, just don't confuse here. Like if some vector is there like this is u vector. Okay, this is the vector here. We can break this vector into two components. One along the x-axis, that is ux, other along the y-axis, uy. Okay, let us suppose this angle is theta. Fine. This is angle 90 degree. Fine. So we can say that now you see here. ux is the component which is along the horizontal. Its value will be equal to u cos theta, correct? Na? And uy is the component which is along the y-axis, which is equal to u sin theta. Now, if you apply the vector law of addition here, can I say u is the resultant vector? U is the resultant vector. So, u resultant vector whole square, or the resultant vector r must be equal to the square root of ux square plus uy square plus 2ux uy cos of 90. Why 90 degree? Because ux and uy are perpendicular, so the angle between them is 90 degree. Fine. So if you solve this, we'll get what? U equal to u square cos square theta plus u square sin square theta. This will come as u, which means, what do you understand from this derivation which I have done? It means that this u can be break into two components. One is along the x, other along the y. Along the x component will value will be u cos theta. Along the y, it is u sin theta. So if the body is moving, if the particle is moving in a plane, any motion of the particle is there, that particle can be break into two components, one along the horizontal, other along the vertical. Okay, fine. I think you understand what is component. Okay, fine. So basically, if the body is moving in a projectile motion, and if u is the initial velocity makes an angle theta from the vertical horizontal, then this initial velocity can break into two components, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. Now you just think on this point. If I throw the body with angle theta, how much horizontal displacement it has then? That would be the range of the projectile. Range of the projectile is what? The horizontal displacement of the projectile. And what is the vertical displacement? That is h max. Means maximum vertical displacement is h max, maximum horizontal displacement is range. Okay, fine. I think up to now you understood. Fine. Now, see, if I have to find the range, now we can say that if I have to represent velocity in the plane, I have to write the two equations of motion, one along the x, other along the y. So if I break this into two equations, one equation along the x would be what? X equal to uxt plus half axt whole square. Next, bx equal to ux plus axt. Okay, and the last equation is what? X equal to bx square minus ux square divided by 2 into ax. Okay, that is the equation of motion along the x-axis. Similarly, the equation of motion along the y-axis would be equal to what? That would be equal to y equal to by square minus uy square by 2ay, then by equal to uy plus a by t, and last equation is what? uh, y is equal to u by t minus plus half a by t square. So basically, we have divided this motion into two different motions. Two different motions, one along the x-axis, other along the y-axis. Okay. Now, if we analyze both the motion separately, we can get the range, we can get the maximum height, and we can get the time of the flight. Okay, that is very easy. Okay, see, what is range? Range is the horizontal displacement of the particle. So we are throwing the particle from this point O. O is the point where we are throwing the object. Okay. This is the point we are throwing, and this is the point we are reaching here. Okay, along the horizontal. So for the horizontal displacement, which velocity is responsible? The velocity along the x-axis. Okay. Now in projectile, there is only one acceleration. That is gravity. Now gravity will act along the y-axis. So Ay will be equal to minus g. Why minus g? Because g is always acting downward. Okay. And there is no acceleration along the x-axis. Means Ax would be equal to 0 meter per second. Fine. So if you use this concept here, we can get the range. Now range is the maximum horizontal displacement. So, so horizontal displacement represented by x, that is uxt, plus half axt whole square since axt is 0 because there is no acceleration along the horizontal, can we say range equal to uxt, or we can say u cos theta into t. Now t is basically what? The time of the flight. T is the time of the flight. So if we can find the time of the flight, we can find the range also. Okay. Now what is the time of the flight? We started the object from O and it reaches A. What is the displacement along the horizontal vertical for the particle? What is the vertical displacement? If it started from O and it reaches A, then what is the vertical displacement? Zero. Yes, vertical displacement would be zero here. Okay. So if vertical displacement is zero, can I write the equation as Sy equal to U by T minus half gt square? So vertical displacement is zero. So zero equal to U sine theta into T minus half gt square. So we can get time of flight equal to 2u sine theta by g. That is the time of the flight. Okay, that is the time of the flight. So time of the flight, if we know, we can find the range also. So range, if you substitute the value in the range, we can get what? U cos theta into time of flight, that is 2u sine theta by g. So we get a range equal to what? U square into 2 sine theta cos theta by g, which is sine 2 theta. So it should be what? U square sine 2 theta by g is the range. Okay. So range we found, time of flight we know, h max we can also find. Okay. That is what project time means. Okay. So I think time is up. Okay. So see, basically you are JEE students. Okay. You don't need to think about the formulas. Okay. Fine. Just just see the concept here. Okay, if you know the concept, you can solve any problem. Okay. See, I cannot remember the range formula. That is that range formula which I have derived, but I know how to derive the formula. Okay, that is very important point. Okay, okay. So thank you all.